Zoom, then you can use the chat room in Zoom for your questions. And I will get to those after we talk about how to get your life in order, right? Everything starts with getting our life in order, getting clarity, making a plan, deciding what we want. And all of these things are in your control. Isn't that a great thing? That everything is in your control. This is Shelley Marenka with Inspired Living, and I'm coming to you live in my teaching room. And today's topic is going to be about not only time management and how to grasp your week and get a weekly focus, but it's really about getting clarity also about what you want, so that what you put down on paper when it comes to time management and when it comes to clarity and filling in your appointment book and your calendar, right? And taking things off your to-do list and moving them over into the action space, which is your calendar and your appointment book. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, my friends. Thank you so much for joining us. And drop a comment below or in the chat where you're tuning in from. We have fans from all over the place, and including over in Europe. And it's great to see you all here. Okay, so let's get started with this party, all right? So here's a concept for you. If you win your morning, you win your day. And if you win your day, you win your week. And when you win your week, you win the month and the year, and you win your life, right? But how do you win the day? What steps do you need to take to win the day? And what I want to tell you is that for me to win the day, I start with my miracle morning process. And I adopted that many years ago. And Hal Enrod, I believe was his name, is the one who wrote the Miracle Morning book, was really an inspiration to me to be doing that. And when I was able to adopt his framework and then create it and turn it into something that worked for me, where I created my own for an inspired living life, then it changed my world. And I became much more productive, much more efficient. I was happier. I had a purpose to get out of bed. I was working powerfully with my mindset, and everything from my mind, body, and spirit. So if you want to win the day, it starts with having a miracle morning process, which I have all framed out for you on my blog at smarenka.com. So you can go there to see how I created my miracle morning and the 10 steps that I take, and then maybe draft something for yourself. And so not only in the miracle morning are concepts for addressing your mind, body, and spirit, but it comes to taking a look at your appointment calendar. Now, if you don't have one, you're losing the game right now, right? So I encourage you, if you do not have an appointment book, you go out and you get one. And there's hundreds of different types of time management appointment books, right? And you may be saying to yourself, well, I work at home, or I'm a mom, or I work for myself. And it doesn't matter what your job is. I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs. Half of them are my clients, but many are moms or empty nesters, and they're recreating their life, and by design, right, versus by default. And this is the first step that you can take to create your life by design and stop living by default. That means you're taking control over it, right? And in order to do that, you got to write it down. It's like there's something that happens in the brain when we take pen or pencil to paper and we start to write it down. It's like we're reactivating our brain for what we want. Our brain's listening, and then the universe begins to bring it to us. So number one, you've got to have an appointment book. And I love Brenda Burchard's appointment book. I'll show you that later. I just ordered a new one called The Passion Planner. I'm not so sure if I'm crazy about this or not, but part of it could be change. But I'm looking for something that's very effective, and I really did like Brendan's, but I wanted something different. Some of you may have that day-to-day appointment planner that you get off of Amazon, but whatever works for you. And some of my clients, their appointment planners are Google Calendar, and they work best on their computer. But whatever works for you is what's best for you because you want to be able to be motivated to use it. And you want to be able to know how to use it. And you don't want to have a struggle about how to use it. But for me, I'm a visual person, and writing things down really sets them up in my brain and in my mind as well as on paper, so it gets me going. And if you own your morning and you own your calendar, right? That is the beginning of owning your life. And so what we're going to talk about today is time management and planning. And I've provided a weekly focus for you that for those of you who registered prior to this webinar, you have the weekly focus piece of paper for the front and the back that you can use so you don't have to draw lines and everything. And if you want that weekly focus document, just message me. You can DM me on Facebook. You can message me on my website at smarenka.com and contact me there, and I will send you this weekly focus planner that is an addition to your appointment book that helps you break things down, and then you can transfer them over to your appointment book. Now, today's explanation of time management is going to zero in on the micro focus, right? The macro focus of calendaring is really important also. And that's when we take a look at the year, and then we break it down into each month, and then we break it down into each week. And then this weekly focus is really about breaking it down for the week, day to day. All right. And it gives you a different summary and a different guideline to be able to go through your day. And then why do we want to do this? We want to do this because, again, if you don't design your life, you are going to be living by default, and it's just going to design you. And I want to encourage you to not accept anyone's definition of your life. I want you to define it for yourself. And that way, you're going to be able to create a life that you love and get what you want. And having clarity is everything. You cannot wait for it to happen. You have to begin to create it. And as your process unfolds, if you don't have clarity now about what you want, I promise you that it will come. But you've got to take action, because it's not going to fall down from the sky like a brick that hits you on the top of your head. It's just not, right? Yeah. And so you've got to make a plan. Clarity is everything. You've got to know where you're going. And if you have no goals, you have no growth. And if you have no growth, you have no fun. It's like we're here to grow, and we're here to learn, and we're here to expand. And that's the fun part about it. And when we have no clarity, we have no change. And if we have no change, that means that we're lying dormant, we're remaining stagnant. And that's not what life is for. Life is for vitality and vibrancy and expansion and living into your fullest potential. And friends, you can't do that without managing your time, right? And without managing this day. And if you don't take this day by the horns and you don't live it to its fullest, then you're losing, because nobody knows what is promised. Tomorrow is not promised, only today and only in this moment. And when we carpe diem, then we can at least ensure ourselves that we're living our life to the fullest potential for this moment, for this time, and for this day, right? Because the past is behind us and the future is not guaranteed to any of us. So if you really want to make things happen in your life, you've got to embrace change, and you've got to embrace growth. And change, sure, it's a struggle, and you've got to lean in order for that to happen. And it may be painful a little bit before it's powerful, but there's a certain amount of suffering that has to happen before change happens. And as you go through growth, and you leave your trauma and your transition, and you're stepping into transformation, and maybe you're leaving a relationship that didn't work out. Maybe you're leaving a job. Maybe you lost your job in the season of COVID that's happening. Maybe you just have a lot of uncertainty. Maybe you're someone who procrastinates and just doesn't know how to fire up underneath that butt of yours and get yourself going. You know? Maybe you want to shift and you don't exactly know how to make that shift. And maybe you have all these fears coming up, which are natural and normal. Like, well, what if I do this and that doesn't happen? What if I do this and I lose this? But you have to ask yourself, are you living in the past and wanting to drag that with you forward? Or are you here in the present to manifest what you want and co-create with the divine and the universe and bring into life what it is that you're calling in? So it's your choice, my friends. And the trick is to be able to sustain it with your heart open and still be loving and still be willing to go through whatever that journey takes you through to get to the other side. And clarity begins to narrow down as you move along. So, as I said, if you don't know exactly what it is now, just come up with something. Come up with 3 things that you want to focus on now. Okay? 3 things from your personal life, your business life, your spiritual life, your physical life. Maybe it's about, wanting to create a plan to work out and get fit and feel healthier so you can be vibrant and step up into your potential and live to your highest performance, right? Or maybe it is you have this great idea for this business, this project that you're doing, and you want to break it down, right? Or you're a mom raising your kids at home and you feel frazzled and you feel overwhelmed. You can have a plan or an appointment book just like the rest of us entrepreneurs, because that's who you are, mama. You are an entrepreneur. You have a lot on your plate and a lot of responsibility and a lot of things to do. And so we all do. And when we plan it out, we are planning our future success. And when we fail to plan, you are essentially planning to fail. By not making a decision, you are making a decision to not decide. And that sets you up for planning to fail. So some questions that you want to ask yourself are these. What do you want now? That really helps with clarity, right? What questions do you need to ask yourself? Right? What do you want to focus on when it comes to your personal relationships? What do you want to focus on when it comes to your business? What do you want to focus on when it comes to spirituality and developing a relationship with the divine so everything else just works beautifully and unfolds organically with flow and alignment in your life, right? Now, I know this is a little off topic, but it's really setting the foundation and the base for the reality of why you want to put pen to paper and get yourself an appointment book, right? And be able to create a life you love. Holy cow, I was looking for this page and I flipped all morning long for it. And here it is. Okay. The divine's right here with us, keeping us on task, right? So, what would be the next best thing that you can do to advance, for example, your health this month, your projects that you're working on, setting them in a priority, your relationships, right? Like, what are the next 3 best steps that you have? And then ask yourself this: what have you been avoiding because it's hard? What have you been avoiding because it's hard? So write these things down, and this will help you develop competency when you tackle them and you step into them with confidence, right? Yeah. If you want life's golden ticket, nobody's going to give it to you. And it's not going to be by winning the lottery. It's going to be by you stepping into your greatest potential and making a decision and knowing that you can leave fear behind and step forward into crazy confidence and build it as you go along. So you're going to win the morning, right? Develop a routine. It's like, you want to win the day by having a routine, and you want to break up the routine, right? Maybe you've got a routine that you've been doing for 5, 10, 15 years, God knows. Let's break it up and start all over with something brand new to create a shift in you, to get your mind thinking in a different way, for those neurotransmitters to be firing on different levels, okay? So do whatever it takes. And when your mind is in a positive place, which the Miracle Morning helps you set up, and making your calendar work for you puts you in a positive mindset. And you're also prepared because you're prepared for what might come at you and set you back in that day or throw you off your game because you've thought about it in advance. Like one of the questions that I ask myself in the morning is, what's a situation that might stress me out? And how am I going to handle that? So I'm setting intention for the day on how I can handle that and maybe reframe it or be able to cope with it with some of my tools out of my toolbox, right? So all of these things make such a big difference. And when we can step into life and our day with positivity, we're going to get great results and we're going to have a great day. But we've got to set our intentions going into that. Let me fix this plugin. It's going a little wacko. So you want to start your day with positive expectations, and that's what's going to happen in your appointment book. So get your appointment book out if you haven't gotten it yet, and drop in the comments below or the chat room, okay, where you're tuning in from and what's your biggest challenge when it comes to creating a life that you love. Here we go. Creating a life that you love. Okay. My computer doesn't like this. Hello, hello. Let's try over here. Okay. What do you need to do to create a life that you love? So we're going to start your day with positive expectations. Your appointment book, you're going to review it. You're going to make the changes that you see that need to be done. Maybe rearrange your day a little bit. If you have to, something else comes up because life comes up in front of us all the time. Shift that, take it out of this day, put it into the next day, okay? So no matter what happens, you can handle it better when you're prepared, when you have a framework for your day, because you've set yourself up for a positive morning. And I like to say, thank you for grace. Thank you for this day. Thank you for parents. Thank you for love. Thank you for the struggle. Thank you for the optimism. Thank you for the adventures. Thank you for the opportunities. Thank you for the silver linings and things. Okay? Ask yourself, what do you want? And what are your goals? So now we're going to start getting into the meat of it. Get your pen, get your paper. Here we go. All right? So those of you who have the weekly focus sheet, go ahead and get that out. Those of you who are watching on Facebook, then go ahead and put in the comments below, what is your biggest struggle when it comes to scheduling out your day? Okay? So I want you to know that also, if you're watching this, this is just a piece of what I teach in my new Vibe Tribe membership club, and also my upcoming 8-week program called Braving the Wilderness. So if you're interested in accepting a challenge for your life, changing it, getting certain about all of this uncertainty in the times that we're in now and stepping into your greatest potential, comment below or in the chat room or reach out to me at shelleymarenka@gmail.com or my website at smarenka.com, and we can connect and you can get a free schedule call with me, a clarity call, a strategy call, a breakthrough call, a health reset call, whatever it is that's going to help you step up into your potential and live the best life that you have. And I want you to know that God hasn't forgotten about your dreams and your goals. He's right along here with you to co-create, but you've got to take that first step, okay? And he promises to fulfill his end on your end. So let's take action towards our desires and make them come alive. So again, this is going to be for the next 10 or 15 minutes about time management and planning. I've just laid the foundation about why you want to do it and the benefits that lie there before you when you take such action in your life, okay? And calendaring your week out can be as simple, actually can be the simplest, most effective thing that you do to be happier. Because when we are in charge of our lives, and aware of what's going on, and we are controlling it, and it's not coming from outside sources, we're going to be happier. And the other thing that research has shown, besides setting intention for your day that truly will make you happier, is journaling. And we also talk about that in my Vibe Tribe membership club. And I teach you how to do it. And I give you tools and strategies to make it really effective to actually impact and change your life on a positive level and on a spiritual level. And also, so journaling, research shows, makes you very happy too. So we, between these two things, are going to be great initial steps for you to take charge of your life. And why do you want to do this? This will give you a snapshot of your day and of your week. And then if you come to, some more future training and coaching with me, you'll learn how to do the macro scheduling and set out the whole year and actually achieve your goals, in a really elevated time period to just really jumpstart and skyrocket where you want to be. And so I want to ask you, when was the last time that you looked at your past achievements, right? If you're a blue when it comes to the color code, and if you haven't done that, go ahead and look it up, Google it, and take the test. But if you're a blue, I'm one, and we seldom look back at our achievements. But what's important about that, friends, for you to look back at your achievements is because when you look behind you and you stop the tape of replaying of the past, but you look at your accomplishments, it helps you stack them up and acknowledge them to give you confidence to step into the future. Does that make sense? But if we forget about what we accomplished in the past, then we can get hit with roadblocks and challenges in front of us. We don't have enough fuel and momentum to keep going, and so we stop. So calendaring and then having a monthly review and then a quarterly view is really critical so that you can see what you've accomplished in the past. Go, oh yeah, oh my God, I did that. And that's what I love journaling. That's one of the reasons I love about journaling too. It's basically look at the past and see where we came from and see where we're going. And it's huge. It's like I did this the other day. I was working with a coach and I wrote down all these different things that I had accomplished because I had a task to do on my Facebook group and set up all the links for my podcast, which is Inspired Living with Shelley Marenka, with my YouTube, which is Inspired Living with Shelley Marenka, which is my Facebook pages and my groups and my 90-day Take the Leap program, creating all these links. And I went, holy cow. And I was recognizing my accomplishments and congratulating myself. So it's like impossible is nothing. You can do anything, my friends. You can do anything if you set your mind to it. But it all starts with these processes that I'm talking about right now. And so what you want to begin to do is take that to-do list, if you have one, put it right next to your calendar, right here. And this is how you're going to start. You're going to take everything off your to-do list and you are going to calendar it into your calendar. And if it doesn't fit in this next week, then you're going to go to the following week and you're going to put it here. And if it needs to go out for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, you're going to keep putting in this calendar what you need to do, and you're going to eliminate and get rid of that to-do list. You know why? Because it drags you down. It makes you depressed. When you look at it at the end of the day, you feel like you haven't accomplished anything. So it really isn't that effective. And so the best thing to do is can it and move everything over to your calendar. It's one of the first things I teach my clients to when they come in and they want to get a handle on time management, overwhelm, eliminating procrastination, and getting their life in order, okay? So let's get started on how to make your days and your weeks better and calendar it all out. So how are you going to do that? You're going to use this weekly focus. And what it's for those of you that have it at the top, all right, you want to put your name because you're going to be accountable for who you are and what you're expecting of yourself. And then you're going to put week 1 of whatever month, week 1 of June, week 2 of June, week 3 of June, and put the dates. So the dates for today, I don't have them in front of me, but for this week, okay? And then the daily focus is going to be Monday through Friday. So on your weekly focus, under daily focus is Monday through Friday. So we're going to look at Monday, we're going to put the date, and we're going to put the focus. What are your income producing activities, your IPA for the day? As an entrepreneur, we need to move the needle on income producing activities every day. Otherwise, our bank account isn't going to be the way that we want it to, right? And so, for example, it could be a phone call. It could be, if you're in sales, to call your customers for follow up or introduce something that's new to them or what you're offering. Okay. It could, and so whatever's going to move the needle as far as income producing is, you want to do that. And then administration, what do you need to do admin wise in order to get that done or work on the next project or the next task that you have? And it's just for the day. So there's no more than 3 areas that you're going to work on and no more than 3 things under each area. So we're going to get to that in a minute. And then what are you doing for free? What are you offering for free in your work, in your personal space? Okay. You're going to put that down. And then you're going to do that for every day of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all the way through Sunday, and focus on your revenue, your IPA, your admin, and what you're going to do that's free. Okay. And then you're going to write underneath that a new habit. What is a new habit? Either one that you're working on or one that you want to work on. So maybe it's about drinking more water and you have a specific goal. I'm going to drink 6 glasses today, 8 ounces of water, or I'm going to go out and walk for 10 minutes or an hour or whatever it is. Focus on that new habit that you're either building or adding for this week and write it in there. Okay. And then you're going to have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday through Sunday where you can check it off each day you did and completed that habit that you said you were going to do. Okay. This sheet will keep you accountable for that habit, whether it's journaling, exercising, drinking water, praying, saying kind things to your significant other, whatever it is. Spending an hour with your child of quality time. Then we're going to drop down to another box on your weekly focus sheet, which is like this. And again, if you want this sheet, just DM me on Facebook under Shelley Marenka or in our Facebook group, Women Wanting More. Okay, that's our private group. And I will make sure that you get this weekly focus handout sheet in your hands. So essential goals to accomplish this week. So this is what your weekly focus is going to be on. Now, Rome wasn't built in a day, so we have to take our project. And for example, maybe you're writing a book, okay? Or maybe you're working on a project or an online course. Or maybe you are, you have this big accounting thing that you've got to get out. But we all have projects and we all have tasks. Maybe for those of you that are at home, maybe it's about uncluttering your home, right? Like, that seems to be a big thing these days, and I know how that goes. And I actually have information for you on that too on my blog at smarenka.com. And also on my podcast, I have a talk about decluttering. When you unclutter your space, you unclutter your mind, right? So this is going to be the weekly focus, essential goals to accomplish this week. And those of you who are going through the sheet with me, drop in the comments below or in the chat your questions, and I will answer them when we get through this sheet, okay? So what essential goals do you have to accomplish this week? And how you're going to determine your goals is that's what the objectives are underneath your project. So your goals are your projects, and then you have your objectives. So it's those bullet forms, right? But not more than 3 goals for the week, and not more than 3 bullets under each one. So, and then in the next column, it's going to be who. So who's involved in these projects and in these goals to help you move the needle forward? Is it just you? Or are you, outsourcing some of this work, like to Upwork or to Fiverr or to your babysitter or to your significant other or to a co-working partner? Who else is involved in helping you move the needle forward on this particular project? You write their names in the column. For example, I have someone very special to me who helps me with my website, my online courses, and my marketing. And so She's on my weekly list to get in touch with to help me get clear on some things and focus on what's necessary and close the loop on others, to get it done. And so in the final column is where you put the date that it's done. Now, here's the thing. We may have to second guess on that, but having a date will get you to that goal that much faster. And if you don't make that date, that's okay. It's not set in stone. You just course correct as you move along. But not having a date leaves it out there and you might as well not have a goal. So make sure that you have set it for a date. Okay? Set it for a date. Next, what we have is underneath the daily focus, then we have the weekly focus. Now we have the weekly projects. And the weekly projects begin with the project in mind. So you write down 3 projects that you have going on, and then the action that you're going to take this week on those projects. Okay? And then in the third column over, the date that it's completed. So you have your weekly projects, and then underneath it, you have your project, the action you're going to take this week, and the date that it's completed. Okay? Then on the very bottom, you ask yourself, how's the week coming along? And this one gives you a grade, but I don't believe in a grade. I would rather put on a scale of 1 to 10, how close did you come? On Monday, for example, by the end of today, how close did you come on hitting those goals and those points that you laid out on this weekly focus, okay? How close did you come to the weekly focus? And then you check yourself off. So you're staying in check with yourself every day. And that way, when you get off course, you're not that far off so that you can get right back on, right? It's like a pilot flying a plane. And if he decides to take his instruments off course and just let the plane go wherever it goes, by the time he checks in, if he waits till the end of the week or the end of the month, he's going to go, holy cow, instead of going to Australia, we're going to South America or Africa. So this is really important to do. It's daily check-ins, like at the end of the day, how did you do today? How did you score on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 to being, I rocked it, I kicked butt, I had intention with everything I did. I showed up with the energy that I wanted. You really were on your game, stepping into your fullest potential. And you do that Monday through Friday, or even on the weekends, you can do that, okay? Then on the back of the weekly focus sheet, we have accomplishments last week, okay? So you're going to do this like on a Sunday night. That's really the best so that you can jump in Monday morning and be ready to go. But if you haven't been able to get that done over the weekend, then jump in first thing Monday morning to create that for yourself, okay? And here's what you want to do. You want to recognize the accomplishments for last week because, as I was mentioning before, that really keeps the momentum going. We make sure that we give ourselves credit, rewards, and for the accomplishments that we've made. We acknowledge that, and then that builds our confidence to step into the next best thing that is on our roadmap to success, if you will. So you write down in the column on the left what you accomplished and why. Why was it important to you? That's really important, your why. Because if you did it for anything else except for moving the needle forward and for your happiness, you may want to take a look at that and ask yourself, is this really important to me? Or is this important to someone else? Okay. And then in the column next to it, importance 1 to 10. Like, was that a number 10 for you to get done last week, or was it a number 1? And then next to that, in the following column, it says future action needed. So you may have not completely closed the loop. You may have 2 steps that are left. And so you write down future action that's needed that goes somewhere. I'll tell you in a minute. And then on the next column over, it says on calendar, and it has a question mark. Did you put it on your calendar? So what you're going to do is you're going to evaluate and take a look at what you accomplished and why, how important it was on a scale of 1 to 10, what future action needs to be taken, and is it on your calendar? And if not, get it on your calendar. Get it on the calendar, get it on the calendar. Because if you don't get it on the calendar, it ain't going to happen. And if you fail to plan, my friends, you are planning to fail. Planning to fail. And we don't want that. We don't want that. You know what? Because you're amazing and you can get done anything that you want because nothing is impossible for those who step out in faith and believe that they are the I am that is possible. Got that? Awesome. So then you want to evaluate yourself on that too. Like last week on a scale of 1 to 10, did you kick butt? Did you rock it? Like, how were you when it came to your energy last week, right? Were you rocking it? Did you show up? If you didn't show up, why didn't you show up? And you can ask yourself, what could have made last week even better? Maybe you got so busy that you didn't work out at all. Maybe working out could have made that week better. Maybe you skipped a whole day of drinking water and that's your goal. So that's something that could have made your week better if you were really more responsible and accountable to the habit that you are working on developing to move your life forward, right? And then you can acknowledge a situation or a task that you handled really well. Like maybe it came out of the blue, but you handled it really well. Give yourself some accomplishment, kudos for that. And we can't forget to remember and appreciate those moments that happen in the day that were really special, and you can write that down because a lot of appointment books, they have room, to write things down in different spaces and down in here and up in there. So acknowledging the special moments is really important because we're not just living for our work. That's not going to make us happy. Nobody ever lied on their deathbed and said, I wish I really worked more. What they really wish for is that they paid more attention or gave more time to their relationships, their dreams, their desires, right? So appreciate those moments that really made a difference for you. Maybe it was a kindness act that was paid forward to you. Maybe it was a phone call. Maybe it was a card you got in the mail. A connection. We all are all about connection. And then you have this daily habit scorecard. So you're going to score yourself on how well you did that day, but not to, point the finger and say, oh my God, you did a terrible job. No criticism, no judgment. That's not what it's about. But it's about helping you course correct so you can do better tomorrow or pick up where you left off today. Does that make sense, you guys? Does that make sense? So you want to really take a look at clarity is one. And this is one of the pillars that I teach in my Braving the Wilderness, my new 8-week program coming up, that I also coach in my new Vibe Tribe membership club, the mastermind that we're going to have. So clarity is really important. How on task were you when it came to clarity on a scale of 0 to 5? Okay. And the same thing with energy. You want to do the same thing. Did you show up with intention and energy? And how was your energy? Where was your vibration level? Were you kind of swimming in negativity? Or were you, jumping up and down with enthusiasm and positivity and really walking your world? Did you manage your mental and physical energy well? Okay. And necessity. Did you feel it was a necessity to be your best and to be on your A game, right? Did you make that a must this week? And then productivity. Did you work on the things that count the most? Or did you find yourself multitasking or avoiding or eliminating? And the hardest thing for your day is really the first thing that you want to do and get it out. It's like when there's something major that's looming and there's a little fear around it for whatever reason, my friends, to make your day go perfect, what you want to do is bite that and eat it up and jump on it and attack it and get her done first thing in the morning. Then it's done. The rest of the day opens up. It's like, wow, that wasn't so hard. That was pretty cool. That worked great. And then influence. What was your influence to those around you? Did you treat people kindly? Right? Were you nice? Did you have a positive influence on those around you? If all you did on this day was to make other people smile and make a difference in their day because of who you are and how you showed up for them, that, my friend, is progress. That's happiness. That's living a life that you love, making a difference, right? Progress isn't about perfection, right? Progress is about small steps every day towards what we love. And then last, courage. Did you step up even though you had fear? Did you set it aside and say, I got this. Thanks for the reminder, but I've got this. Did you step into courage today? Right? Did you share your real self and your feelings and your thoughts about what's going on and what's present and what's most important for you? Yeah? So now I am going to leave you with all of these tools, and you can begin again, because on this day, whatever day it is, it ends in day. So whether it's Monday or Friday or Sunday, this is the day for you to begin with your time management to avoid conflict and overwhelm and procrastination and step into your greatest potential. Take charge of your life and decide that this day is going to be the day that you're going to make a difference for the rest of the week, the month, the quarter, the year, and your life, right? This is the day. So this is Shelley Marenka signing off. I hope you enjoyed this training. You can get more trainings like this. I may come back every Monday morning in my Women Wanting More group. Right now we're live for Wednesday Night Live every week for coaching and training, and I bring really great guests on. You can join us there. And you can also find me at Inspired Living Podcast with Shelley Marenka for more of this free coaching and training, and also on my YouTube channel, Inspired Living with Shelley Marenka. And you can hop in and schedule that clarity call, that strategy call with me, and you can do that on my website at smarenka.com under scheduling, and we can connect, and I would love that. And you could join my upcoming Vibe Tribe membership club or my 8-week program, Braving the Wilderness. So until later, remember, this is Shelley Marenka with Inspired Living. Power up your potential, radically shift your health, and love yourself more, my friends. I love you. Thanks so much for tuning in. I really enjoy you being here, and I will see you on the inside.